Bestie Boos.
Hello.
It's our podcast and it's our first ever episode. I am Sam and this is...
Sarah.
Oh, well done. You said your name.
I got the bit.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what if she doesn't say
Do
it?
I pass the co-host test?
You've done well so far, mate. We've decided to start a podcast. We have been talking about this, I'll probably say like winter last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started sort of going, we should start a podcast. You know, what else is there to do when your life sort of, well, for me, when your life falls apart and you don't know what to do next? I feel like everybody these days just sort of starts a podcast.
Yeah, and we were talking every day anyway, so may as well record it for fun.
And the thing is, I used to actually have a job on the radio. So at least it's not
Yeah.
just like I used to work at a library and now I'm like, let's start a podcast.
Not like me.
Not like you. So for people that don't know us, we are Sam and Sarah, Sarah and Sam. But I used to work on More FM for many years. I worked at MediaWorks for about 10 years, on air most of those years. So I've worked with people like Simon Barnett, Gary McCormick, Lana Searle, all still really good friends with those guys. Love
off,
those
queen.
guys. Yeah. Would love to work with them again.
Shout out to Bosto. How are you? Hope
Hey,
you're tuning
Bosco,
in.
Give me a call anytime, mate. Just sitting at home.
And I am Sarah. What do I tell you about me? Should we read the bios maybe?
Oh, yeah, the bios is a good idea. I wrote those back when we were sort of thinking about doing a podcast, and I just thought, oh, I need to write some stuff down. And so I wrote this sort of vision for our show and then
Yeah.
sent it to you, and you went, oh, I like that.
Yeah, got it out of your head. I was going to say onto paper, onto the phone notes and sent it my way.
That's the one.
Yeah, all right. Bestie Boo, Sarah and Sam, an unfiltered podcast about our lives, our friendship, and pop culture. Sam comes from a broadcasting background. Originally, she formally trained in a useless history degree before doing absolutely nothing with it. She then worked her way up at More FM producing and announcing. Life took a turn after her soulmate Samuel was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. Samantha and their daughter lost him in early 2024. She hasn't been on a microphone much in the past 2 years, but it's finally time to chat.
Ain't that the truth? Here I am.
Yeah.
And what did I write about you? I feel like I was very glowing about Sarah. I put, Sarah is brand new to the centre stage, normally organising and activating large-scale and high-profile partnerships and events. She's outgoing, bubbly, and loves a bloody good yarn. Her husband's a builder, but she ain't got a new kitchen. He was really put out when he read that. I was like, well, where's the kitchen, bro?
Yeah.
A girly boy mum, your ultimate hype gal through thick and thin, and obviously a diehard Warriors supporter too. Sam and Sarah have been friends for over a decade, but the past year they have become Bestie Boos. A term you might hear a bit on the podcast. Pour a gin, roll a joint, and breathe some fresh air and hit play. It's just Sarah and Sam, your new Bestie Boos.
Oh, hey.
That's us.
That is us. You did well putting that together.
Thank you.
You were particularly kind, though.
Bless me.
Yeah, bless you indeed.
So we were going to originally start recording this podcast about a week or two ago, but unfortunately, I came extremely under the weather.
You sure did.
Started with Luna. She picked up the gastro bug from God knows where, and she was sick that day. She wasn't horrific, but it was, it was a long day. So by the time I got to that night, and it was like 10 p.m, I messaged you and said, mate, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, and that is so unlike you.
You must have nearly died from shock.
I know. We're normally texting till quite late at night. But yeah, 10 o'clock rolled around. Should have known. That should have been a sign. But yep, you went to bed the next day. Nothing from you overnight. And based on the previous night, I was like, this is a real win. So I flicked you a message. Hey, Dal, haven't heard from you overnight.
I think it was something along the lines of, hey, gal, haven't heard from you. Guessing it's gone well overnight. And I read that. And I thought, oh no, I better update her. And so I sent her a Snapchat from hospital.
You did.
Because what had happened, it hit me at 2 a.m. with full force. And just, honestly, sorry, but liters came out of me. And that's
Grim.
all I'll say. But it was just so much that more than I thought possible in every way, okay?
Yeah.
And then I got like a really low temperature and I was shivering and then my head started hurting. I rang my mum, she rang my sister, they rang Healthline.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're ringing 111. Oh my gosh. And yeah, got to Ambo to hospital for gastro. But it turns out I just got extremely dehydrated, caused all these, I had to give me fentanyl. Like it was some serious business.
You don't do things by halves, gal.
No, I was still there at like 4 p.m. the next day. And they sent me home. But we were going to record the podcast then. And I think that would have tied in quite well because I was talking to you about how, about a week or two ago, well, actually on the 10th of February, a year ago, is when Samuel died, my husband.
Yeah.
And so we were sort of thinking about, we're thinking back to those early days because they were such a blur. And God, like I don't even know really how to begin with all of this and what to say. It's so bizarre to even talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember that time my husband died? And like it was just so horrible.
I know.
Still is.
It was a crazy time. And then I think what made it even crazier at the time is that you guys had sort of made this decision, right, before he passed away, that you had tickets to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, we did. I had tickets to Taylor Swift. It was just me going. I was so desperate to go to Eras tour that I actually ended up buying a ticket through a listener off More FM where I used to work. Bless her. I think her name was Lorraine. What a sweetheart.
Shout out to Lorraine.
Shot Lorraine, hun. Which was better circumstances. But, yeah, and so I'd said to Sam before he died, and he was really unwell then, I'd said, I'm not going to Taylor Swift anymore.
Yeah.
And he was really upset by that. He's like, no, you have to go. And I was like, no, Sam, if you're still going, I can't be there. And if something happens to you, I can't leave you.
No.
And then if also, it's just, I couldn't imagine it. And so I was like, I'm not going. And he was really upset by that. And so then once he ended up passing away, earlier than what I thought he was going to. And then everyone was just like, well, you got to go.
Yeah.
You still got to go. And I also felt like,
he wanted this for you.
Yeah.
He was so excited for you.
and like I fucking love Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and it was the
Don't get me
Eras
wrong.
tour.
I love her so much, but my life had just been fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Like the last thing I wanted to do was shake it off. As much as I love her, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But everyone, and then that was such a horrible time because it was like, oh, if I don't go, I'm going to be, I feel real shit about it. And he wanted me to go. Then if I do go, blah, blah, blah. So basically, we had Sam's funeral. And then the next morning at like 6 a.m., I'm flying off to Melbourne to go to Taylor Swift. And one of my friends, Alex, she actually ended up, Lana helped her out, I think, bought her flights. And they got a ticket for her. She wasn't sitting with me, but at least I wasn't alone.
I remember you saying that it was quite nice, though, to be around a bunch of people that didn't know what you'd been through in the last even 24 hours alone, let alone.
Even thinking back to that now, though, here I am at the Taylor Swift concert, at the time, a 33-year-old fresh widow, solo mum, life in tatters.
Yeah.
Next to me, 17-year-old girl, jewels on her face, there with her mum, crying about how this is just, the
Life-changing.
Life-changing. And, she's bawling more than I am. My fucking husband's dead.
Yeah. I know.
And then on the other side, I've got, a really similar situation there. So here I am sandwiched in between, these young girls living their best era. And I was, unfortunately, at the absolute worst of mine. Bizarre.
That is crazy. But you were kind of damned if you did and you were damned if you didn't.
I know, yeah. There was just nothing I could
There was
have
no
done.
right answer to do you get on that plane or not. And I think getting on the plane for all of us as your friends during that time, well, speaking for myself at least, it felt like that was the right thing for you to do.
And I can see that, and I get what you're saying. There's still not a right answer for that one, I mean,
it's bizarre. It was a bizarre time.
And being in Melbourne, I hated it. I just felt homesick. I felt horrible. It was so disorientating leaving this house.
Yeah.
This safe place, this place where we'd just been for 7 months on Sam's, downhill journey. And then I was just taken out of that and chucked into Melbourne. It was just, overwhelming for me.
Yeah, and to be away from Luna as well.
Oh, horrible. Yeah. Just all my safety was gone from me.
Yeah.
And I felt, when you've gotten really drunk and you might have said something really dumb.
I don't know what that feels like.
Unrelatable.
That would not be me.
And the next day you get that anxiety. You're like, you stress out. Does everyone hate me now? I think that's kind of what it felt like times 10,000. But just more I feel so yuck.
Yeah.
But then coming back from Taylor Swift, it was cool, now dumped back into this world without Sam.
Yeah. It's there was a real defined before and after.
Yeah.
Before Taylor and after.
She would love that.
If your life was a book, there was BT and AT.
Yeah, it's a really pivotal moment. And then coming back home, it was just what? It was everything is just this big circus that had been going on for 7 months had just packed up and left town, mate.
And the people, there were so many people around during that time.
Yeah, visiting, popping in and out and stuff, and then it was just gone. It was all gone. I'm not saying, no one was there, but compared, it was just
it changed dramatically.
Yeah, and then I think people do that thing. I certainly wanted space as well at the time because I was so overwhelmed from having everyone around. So I needed space, but I also shouldn't have had space, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think, people sort of waited for me to message them. Oh, spoiler alert, I didn't.
Yeah, she still doesn't, to be fair.
Yeah. And that's something I have been learning about myself is that I will just sit with it.
Yeah.
I won't
don't think you're alone in
necessarily
that, though, gal.
grab out for people. Like, I think some people actively display how they feel. Like, I think people think I would because I can be a crier or whatever, but I'm not the girl that's going to message and be like, I'm so sad. This is horrible. Like, maybe I would now to you, but I wouldn't really do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been thrust back into this world. And then my gal Sarah here, this is where she comes into this story. Because, how long have we been friends? Over 10 years.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
Sarah is married to one of my high school mates, one of the boys. And so, she's always been around. We've always been good friends, and gotten along really well, but we were never, besties.
No, we were friends.
We're
And
part of a girl group,
Yeah.
really, weren't we, as well?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, God, I look back, I've got the worst memory ever, but I look back on old photos and I'm like, oh, that's right. There's Sam with her scrumpy hands in my lap.
Oh, don't bring up Scrumpy. I hate Scrumpy so much now.
Well, yeah, I have photographic evidence of you
mate.
having it taped to your hands. But anyway, we'll leave that there.
That's a whole thing of my personality for many years there.
But yeah, and, we watched a lot of Warriors games together over the years. We went through thick and thin there.
Yeah.
A lot of thin.
Totally. And I remember when Sam was sick, you would reach out a lot, but I just couldn't handle, I wasn't mean to people, but I just was really like, yeah, I've just got to do this right now.
Totally.
Like I was so snowed under.
And we had a core friend group of probably 4 or 5 of us gals. And yeah, I mean, not only were you going through the worst of times for Samuel, but you were a new mum as well,
It's a double whammy, eh?
Yeah.
So rough.
And actually, what an absolute whirlwind. You'd found the love of your life, and then you'd gotten pregnant, and then Sam had gotten sick.
I know. It was just it was whiplash. That's what I felt like coming home from Taylor Swift. It was just sort of like, what? I'm in this house, and there's this kid, but how did I get the kid? And why am I in this house again that I used to live in when I was younger? Side note, used to own this home as a family when we were younger, but it was just such a whiplash. And I still feel that way a lot of the time. It's a lot of being like, was that real?
Yeah.
It's like I either live in 2 parts. One part where it's like, was that real? Or the other half like, that was real and I can't get out from it because I'm so gutted by it.
Yeah.
So tell me from your point of view here, because from my point of view is that our friendship became the Bestie Boos because I remember you would just text me and be like, hey gal, hot chocolate at your door. I can't really remember how long that went on for before it took a next step and before I started saying let's hang out or before I started opening up to you. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's weird. I guess our friendship's in 2 parts because, before Samuel passed and then the stuff after Samuel passed. So before Samuel passed, before he got sick, probably, we would always go out for dinner. We would have the gals. We would always get together. We would watch the Warriors, yada, yada, yada. You get pregnant, life changes, Sam gets unwell. And obviously you fall off the face of the earth for a bit. We still text every now and again. Again, she doesn't reply. That's fine.
I'm not purposely being mean.
You get married. I enjoy the wedding. It was fabulous. We're still there. We're still really close, but our friendship is different, right?
Yeah.
And then, Samuel passes away. And then I was there. I remember being there a lot for that. And then I remember you probably about 2 or 3 weeks, no contact.
So was this after Taylor Swift sort of thing? So
probably.
You'd visited when he was here with the body, we'd had the funeral, I'd gone to Taylor Swift, and then it'd been what you're saying, 2 or 3 weeks, nothing.
I think so, but it wasn't nothing as in complete no contact. It was nothing in return or nothing meaningful. I reckon there was probably about 2 or 3 weeks where it was just, like you say, dropping off the hot chockies. Hey, gal, I'm here when you're ready. I'm here when you're ready. And I don't think I did it intentionally, but looking back, I just didn't give up.
Yeah.
And
honestly, that's what I needed though. I needed that. And I think that for me, it's so much to unpack there, but I've always needed that.
Yeah.
Just someone just to keep going because I'm a little bit stubborn or in my
Yeah. And then, so, I reckon it was probably around the 3-week mark. I don't know. I've got a shit memory again. But anyway, morning hot chocolates turned into late night gins.
Yeah.
And it just snowballed from there. Mm-hmm. And then that became probably once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the gins, but the late night chats, like in-person chats.
Yeah.
And by that point, for sure, we were talking all
Daily.
day, every day.
Yeah. Because that's what I think, like, so many people just didn't know what to do with me. And I didn't know what to do with me either. I didn't know what I wanted. I was just sitting there like, what? Just crying. I just would cry, and then I'd be like, right, pull it together, parent, make her some food, play some games, sit back down, cry. Like I was just, am still devastated, shocked. What the fuck?
And I didn't know what to do for you either. Like I just knew whatever I was doing didn't feel like enough. Mm-hmm. So that's why I continued to do more and more, because I didn't know how to help. And I guess you get to like, it was crazy. I lost my friend and I was missing him, and I was sad for my friend losing her husband.
Yeah.
Like it was this weird grief of my own, but it was never going to compare to the grief that you were going through.
Yeah.
So how could I help this situation? And I'm a fixer. I got to fix that up.
She's like, I'm gonna mother that up. I'm gonna get in there and show some love.
Yeah. So late night visits, all day texts, and then it just continued and continued and continued. And
so
we've never stopped.
Yeah, and that's so true, isn't it? And I think it's hard because I think I probably had expectations for certain people in my life, what I wanted from them, or maybe I didn't necessarily know that consciously, but I had unconsciously expectations for people. When they didn't meet them or try or gave up after one turn, like it gutted me. It felt like another loss. It felt like, my husband's died and now XYZ doesn't care and they've gone back to their lives. And I got it that everyone had lives and they had to keep going. But for me, I just had nothing anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I had no job, no husband, and I was a full-time parent to a 17-month-old child.
Yeah.
Like it was just, you wouldn't read about it.
Nobody signs up
unless
for
I
that.
wrote a book.
Yeah, and I think too, part of what turned our friendship or really ramped it up is we weren't afraid to go into the deep stuff.
That's exactly it, is that people, you know, they're scared to bring Samuel up to me because it's like it's going to upset me. But it's like, mate, it's there all the time. He is always there. He's somewhere there. Everything I do relates to him in some way. And I hope, no offense to Samuel, but I hope one day it's not as, you know,
All-consuming.
All-consuming, that's exactly it. Yeah, but it is.
Yeah.
And so for you came in, you became a safe place, and then you wanted to talk about Sam and you wanted to cry about Sam. And I'm like, well, me too.
Not me making it all about myself.
But I needed that. I needed someone to reflect back to me the way I felt. Because instead everyone was, you know, either skating around it or not coming around, or maybe they did, but they might not have said the greatest things, but they was still great. They were there. But I just needed someone to go, this sucks.
Yeah. I remember a lot worrying about what I was saying. And I think by owning that and saying, I hope, like, I'm not sure if I've got the right words or whatever it is, but if I owned that up front, then I knew you knew I was just trying to meet you on that level.
Yeah, and I think I always felt that, like, sometimes Sarah would make jokes and you'd think, Sarah, too soon. But then also, like, you have to laugh, because otherwise you will cry much more than you already do.
Yeah. I do think, side note, sometimes even now, a year on, if people hear us, I think they would think, this girl, me, batshit crazy. Why is she saying that about her Bestie Boo's dead husband?
His mother's going to listen to this.
Aww. Hi.
She's a great lady. Well, you do actually, yeah. She'll laugh, hopefully. Yeah. It'll be really awkward next time you see her.
Yeah. I hope not. We'll have another French martini. We'll get on.
Maybe we'll have to edit this later, just to check for any, like, really bad flags. But yeah, that's sort of how it started, and it just built from there. And you know, I've had other friends along the way. Don't think Sarah's the only one, but she, it's just we became best friends. And I definitely came at a time in my, oh God, if I start, I'll start.
Yeah,
but yeah, I really love you. I really appreciate you, gal. I would have been really fucked without you. That's for sure. And I think also, like, on behalf of Samuel James Purdon.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Cry. Do you want to cry on the internet? I've done that many times. Don't say Tom Cruise.
No. I was thinking it. I wasn't going to say it.
If you don't get that, don't Google it. Okay?
Moving on, gal.
Moving on. Oh my God. I thought we could probably talk about the first night I thought it was the first night we got drunk together. That gin night. We'd had a few drinks.
Yeah.
Like over the time, but remember the first night that we really
That was the first night we
sent
fully
it.
sent it.
Yeah, and I think it's because we'd stopped in at the bottle store after I'd picked you up and I was like feeling frivolous. And I was like, let's buy a bottle of spirits.
You with no job.
I know, me on the penny. I thought, let's be crazy and make a cocktail. And we weren't very adventurous. We just went gin and cranberry juice.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got really quite toasted. And then I had reached the point where I was like, I was pretty done. So I was sitting on the floor in the kitchen. I remember being like, Sarah, like, mate, I'm no good. Like, I'm no good. Like, I'm very drunk.
And then we get a text.
No. That's what did happen.
That's what happened.
Our friend Haylee texts and she's like, I'm coming over.
Okay, it's unlike Haylee to really drink much at all anyway. We'd had drinks on the deck. Haylee had gone to town with her other friends. Who even are they? Anyway.
Other friends, what?
Anyway, she'd gone out with her other friends that you also know, right? And then she texts, hey, we're done in town. We're going to come round to your house and have a couple of drinks on the deck too.
Panic mode. Because Haylee was with my old personal trainer. And I don't know about you, but if you hear your personal trainer's coming over to your house, that might send panic signals into you if you feel like you're perhaps not looking very good.
I know, and just painting a bit of a picture, track pants, messy bun, no makeup. That was the vibe
Has been
we were
crying
giving.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of tears, a lot of drinks.
So Haley's like, I'm coming around and I'm bringing the PT. And I just said to Sarah, like, I'm absolutely cooked. I'm sitting on the floor of the kitchen at this point. I'm like, nah, I'm done, bro. Like, I'm going to bed. And you're like, no. Oh, and this is where she's such a good bestie boo. You just stepped up. You're like, no, I'm going to sort this out. No, I'm going to get on your level. That's how I'll fix it. I'll get on your level. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but when does that ever help? You know what? Let me match your vibe. I'm just going to get absolutely written off too, as if I'm not drunk enough.
So she tries to get on my level.
You said to me, no, I'm going to pull myself together, Sarah. I'm just really past it. And then you come out of your bedroom, full face of makeup. You're in your jeans. You come out, glam. I'm still in my trackies.
I love that. My PT's coming. I've got to put makeup on. Like, I've just got to look. You know, as if she was going to be judging me. My husband had died like a month or two before.
And on reflection, she didn't notice anything that night.
She was also cooked.
Yeah. But they said, we're in the Uber. We're going through McDonald's. We'll get you guys some stuff. And we're like, okay, cool. Thank you. That's so nice. And then you said, no. It's gone bad.
Yeah, I was like, I've hit the wall. Nah, I've got to go to bed. And then that's when you were like, no, okay, I'll hang out here with them and sort them out.
Because they were almost here. I was like, well, I can't just book my Uber and leave the deck and they show up and we've shut up shop. They show up with their Mickey D's. So I stay up and then, within minutes, Haylee and the PT, they arrive on the deck.
Sounds like a band.
I know, Benny the Jets.
Haley and the PT.
They show up. They show up with their McDonald's, bless them. And they're like, where's Sam? Star of the show.
Yeah, I'm in bed. And we could talk more about this later on in the podcast, but I'm watching a video from Samuel that he made me, okay?
Obviously, we didn't know that.
So you can imagine the scenes, okay?
Yeah.
Here's this drunk girl in her bed crying about her husband with a video.
How long had this been? This couple of months?
Yeah, it was a couple months, mate. And then so you'd said to Haley, Sam's gone to bed. So Haley, great friend, she's like, no, I'm going to go see her. So she comes in, I'm watching the video crying.
She's holding two
like,
cheeseburgers.
She's got cheeseburgers. She's like, oh, honey. And so she gets in the bed, she's holding me, I'm crying. And then the PT's like, Sam, what's up? And then she's cooked and she just lies on the bed next to me while I'm hugging and crying to Haley. And she just falls asleep.
Bless her heart.
Straight comas out next to the crying widow.
I mean, thank God.
Thank God, yeah. But I couldn't have taken her on as well at that point.
Bless.
And then Haley pulls out the cheeseburgers and I just start wiping my tears with some cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
You put on a performance to Taylor Swift.
I didn't know what to do.
She's doing that awkward thing where she's trying to lighten the mood. But really, it's like, Sarah, just shut up, man.
So I do a full karaoke performance of Taylor Swift, Mega Man.
I'm lying there crying about Sam, just like, fuck up, Sarah.
I know, actually. Sometimes I see myself and I'm like embarrassed for me.
Oh, hun, don't.
But it just happens, honestly.
No, I love you. I look back on that fond memories. At the time, perhaps I thought, shut up. But now I think, great story for the podcast.
Oh, God.
We might get a sponsor one day because of that story. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift sponsors the Bestie Boos.
Oh, but what does she do for people who go on tour with her, mate? She's handing out bonuses left. She's giving them like hundreds of thousands of dollars to truck drivers, man. Just get me somewhere in her vicinity.
I reckon if she knew your situation when you went to the Eras tour.
Part of me thought if I was a different person, I'd make a TikTok right now.
Yeah.
That was like POV at Taylor Swift.
Well, you were
Eras
hardly going to
tour.
hold up a sign.
I was trying to hold myself up, let alone the sign.
Yeah.
But, you know, point of view, my husband died and I'm at the... What do you reckon she would have done? She'd give me the 22 hat?
Please.
I
That would have been nice.
I would love to meet her. So if you do ever somehow see this podcast or hear about it, Taylor, I love you so much and I have stuck by you through all the eras.
Yeah. And if
Sarah's
it means
bandwagoned
anything-
in the past year or so, but she really does love you.
Oh,
You did bandwagon.
no.
Yes, you did.
We need to ring my Auntie Pam and ask what her nickname was for me when I was like 20. I was Taylor Swift. That's what that whole side of the family called me. I'm not even joking, Samantha.
Yeah, well, there must have been a phase and then you came back out of it.
Yeah, I really, we don't need to go there.
I
But
think we talk about this after the podcast. Sorry, guys, this is just semantics, you know? This is just tough stuff for us.
yeah.
So what can we expect from the show going forward? I thought we could just discuss that before we wrap it up and say au revoir to all of our new friends and listeners, all 10 of them.
Oh.
Do you reckon will listen?
Well, your sister,
Yeah.
I think she'll listen.
Oh, we're not taking this one. We just make a ballpark guess.
Oh, Haylee will definitely listen.
I honestly, genuinely, if we hit like 50 or 100 listens,
Oh.
I'd be real chuffed.
I was thinking 20.
Aww.
Oh, to be fair though, shout out to all 500 of our Instagram followers.
Over 500. Yeah, that's really cool. We haven't even
I'm going to say we
done
hit
anything.
526 today.
Hey, yo.
Ayo.
Ew.
Yep.
It's pretty good. Okay, so what to expect? So obviously, you can probably expect a bit more of the story of me and Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not going to be the whole podcast is about it, but also I've probably got a lot to get off my chest and work through, to be fair.
And it happened.
And it happened. Yeah, it's real life, actual. Good point, eh? Sometimes I feel like, yeah, it's like I'm like, oh, don't worry, it's not going to be all about, but it happened. We probably will talk about it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's had a very interesting life as well. Like, could I just give a wee tease?
I was like, oh, what? What happened to me?
Well, I just think this is if I was ever to talk about you to someone who didn't know you, like, well, you wouldn't believe my friend Sarah. She found out at a late
At a late age, were you going to call me?
Yes, at
oh
a
my
late
God, I
age.
am not even mid-30s till next month.
How old were you when you found out about your parent, your
Officially,
Yeah.
29.
So Sarah found out at the age of 29 who her birth father actually was.
Or wasn't.
Or
more
wasn't.
To the point.
Yeah. And it's so much deeper than that because she now has, let's just say how many siblings you've got.
I'm one of 9.
Yeah, and she didn't know that, okay? So it's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. I forget because that is just, even though that was only like 5 years ago, that to me is just normal life. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, is it that outrageous? You know, bit of tall poppy syndrome on myself.
I think it's pretty outrageous.
Yep.
But you know, what am I saying? I've
Yeah.
had an outrageous life too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk about, I guess, the stuff that have happened to us over the years, the things we're interested in now. Obviously,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, things that come up that we think are worth discussing.
Yeah. Probably get you guys to know us a bit more. Learn a little bit about Sam out of More FM space.
Yeah.
Learn a little bit about me, who I am.
Just in general, because you don't know her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She knew, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's good though. I like her.
'Cause-
So if you like me, you should like her.
To be fair, those 526, I probably contributed 6 of those people.
Oh.
520 of them are you. So shout out to the More FM crew tuning in.
Yeah. More FM sitting there like, wait, do we get a cut of this? No, you don't actually, because well,
You don't.
you don't
Yet.
yet. So this was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Please do give us a message. Would be nice to hear what you think and stuff. What you'd like to hear.
Yep.
We're just kind of learning as we go on this, and yep, we're up for anything really. Well,
All right. Calm down.
not true.
All right, single mama. She's up for anything.
Ka kite ano.
See you later.